With that said, everybody, welcome to episode 325 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes, and speaking of juniors, I got to thank Junior for stepping in for me last week. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that.
I have to say, not that I didn't think I was going to enjoy my time with Junior, but when Junior did fill in last week, mira that we've said Junior in the first minute of the show.
Listen, I don't think people who work for Junior's Cheesecake have said Junior this much, ever.
Okay, but Junior's Cheesecake is a shit.
I know. Your cheesecake is wonderful, Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Wait, what were we saying?
I don't even know what I was thinking Junior.
Okay. So when I finished recording with Junior last week, I was like, oh, this is so cool because now every time one of us is out, just Junior is going to be our co-host because he's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. We have a built-in co-host.
I feel like you were gone for about 5 years.
You know, it's funny because I did feel like I was gone longer than I normally am, but it was only a week and a half.
Yeah, but as I said, you were gone. Sometimes
everything happened.
You were gone in sometimes people are gone 2 weeks and nothing happens. And it's like, oh, you're back. And then sometimes people are gone like 4 days and it's like, okay, everything under the sun happened. Like we recorded the podcast. Being Pampollo had 2 huge events.
We won.
We won. Yes, we won Heritage Fuego.
Yes.
Which I was very, very humbled. Well, did you hear the show last week, by the way?
I did hear the show last week.
That I gave our last soda to Flying Hippo Pizza to our friends, Jesse and Terry. So there you go. Another shout out, Jesse and Terry. But yeah, I feel you were gone for a few years.
It does. It's like when I saw you today, I was like, oh, the last time I saw you, we weren't award winning.
We were not award winning, Ping Pampollo. We were just popular, Ping Pampollo.
Exactly. We had the populace.
You know what I just realized on the way over here? That next week is Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So obviously we're going to have a little Thanksgiving talk in this episode. Mm-hmm. We only have about 3 episodes left.
Oh, yeah. And then, I think Christmas is tomorrow. That's it.
We only have about 3 episodes left.
Dollar Tree, you have to have Valentine's. So
No. Next week, I've told you this. I always tell you this. I feel Dollar Tree's always stocking up for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, already.
Which again, I'm like, it's Miami. There's not Irish people here.
Well, but there's teachers that decorate their classrooms.
Yeah. No. Until you're not in the Midwest for St. Patrick's Day, you don't know how people live.
Hey, listen, what's the pub in the Gables? John Martin. John Martin. I mean, they go all out.
That's as close as it gets.
That is as close as we get to a pub, yeah.
But we only have about 3 episodes left.
I know.
And then that's it for season 7.
I know. Season 8 around the corner.
Wait, we do have 3 episodes left. It's 3, right?
Yeah, because December 6th is our last episode of the year.
So
actually, no, I think it's 3, including this one.
Okay, so we have 2 episodes left.
2 episodes left. 2 episodes and a Hangueando.
Yes,
which is the new sitcom on ABC.
From the creators
of 2 guys and a girl.
Come Hangueando.
2 episodes and a Hangueando.
So yeah, and then we take our winter break, which is really a month and a half, and we'll be back in the end of January.
Yeah. Nice and refreshed.
I don't know about refreshed, but
Well, we won't be unrefreshed.
No, I heard that. But
be a little
post Christmas, it's just like, it's January. I always tell you this, when New Year's comes, it's not even that I'm in a new year. It's that I'm in January. That's always like the whole thing. I'm like, it's January. Here we are, January.
Yeah, but January is a new year, fresh slate.
Sure,
it is. It's a new year. You've got new opportunities ahead of you. And listen, now we're part of this network, so who knows what's coming.
So now we got to figure out what our new intro is going to be for next year, because we have to top Perfect Strangers and Laverne and Shirley. But people keep giving us all these ideas like what video to do next, and I'm thinking like there's not a lot of sitcom intros that it's a duo.
That's the problem.
Right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, why don't you do Friends? I'm like, well, we would need 4 other people.
Yeah. It's only 2 of us.
It's only 2
We're very talented.
And then, you gotta do also something that's relevant. We're not gonna do like, Simon and Simon. Like,
that would be hilarious though.
Right.
For the 3 people
who will get that reference.
That would be great. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or like Heart to Heart.
Again, for the 3 people who would get that reference.
Right. No, I get it. But yeah.
Because that's like before our time.
Yeah. I mean, if only Bosom Buddies was a bigger hit for Tom Hanks.
I mean, the only thing that would be fun, and like maybe we could like bring in the other Cultura people, is like a Brady Bunch.
That could be fun.
And then you know what the fight will be, right?
Who's in the middle?
Who's the middle square?
For some
Although the
reason-
middle square, it's a lot of work.
There's a pressure.
I mean,
there.
you got to look up, down, and to the both sides.
You have to acknowledge everyone, but you can't make it look like you're acknowledging them, like you're in the moment. Yeah. So I honestly think it should be Robbie.
The middle.
Yeah, because when I think
he's been in Hollywood,
right, and it's like a Hollywood square,
right.
You know, center square.
I think being corners, it's easy because you're just like,
yeah, you only have certain angles to go to,
right. So maybe we'll do that, or maybe we won't,
or maybe we won't. We don't know yet.
No, we really don't know yet.
We're not being coy.
No, we really don't know.
Really not knowing.
So when Thanksgiving is next week, but by the time our episode drops next week, it'll be Black Friday.
It's right. It'll be when you put it in that way, it's like shit. Yeah,
it sounds like a while before. So I have to tell you something, and I'll share it with all our Pero Primos.
Okay, but don't tell anyone.
Politeness week is over.
Oh,
I took a stand against my family. I told them I'm not making the turkey this year.
but I thought you liked making the turkey.
Right. I do like making the turkey.
Okay.
But my turkey is amazing. I do the upside down buttered
you
method.
gave the recipe last year.
Right.
Yeah.
But the problem is when everybody is sitting, having a drink, you know, lounging, having appetizers, este que está aquí se tiene que jamán making the turkey. And then when that beast of a turkey, because, you know, Thanksgiving,
it's not 4 people.
Thanksgiving in my house, it's like 20 people. So it's like a 25-pound bird, you know, that's like this. It's like the size of a Rottweiler, you know? Like, I have to take that shit out, wait for it to cool down, then I have to carve it.
Oh, so you soup to nuts. Like,
by the time I finish carving the turkey that it's everybody gets in line to eat, I am drenched in sweat. And and then when I take out the turkey from the oven, because I like to make the gravy from scratch.
Right.
So I have to take out the turkey from the platter and then make the gravy. So I'm like in a race against time because I got to make the gravy while the turkey cools down. So I'm over the stove, you know, dammit harina, you know, add the stock to make the gravy, right? The gravy. Everything's swimming in gravy, right? So then, you know, my brother like, oh, is the food gonna be ready anytime soon? And I'm like,
you know, it's your fault because if you drank, you would just be drinking like everybody else.
There is drinking, having a fabulous time, you know, picando quesito, bocadito, and yo, with the pressure of like, this is all on me. The turkey, you know, making the gravy, and then I have to carve the thing. Have you ever carved a turkey?
I don't think so.
Okay, when you carve the turkey, because obviously when you take out the turkey, you got to let it rest. Right. But even if you let it rest for like 20, 25 minutes, it's a big bird. So when you start carving it, the heat comes out of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I am done when I'm done carving the turkey, and then I have to put it on a platter, you know, and garnish the platter. I mean, it's a whole show. And then
that's all you. You love it.
No, I don't. That's why I'm not doing it this year.
So what's
I don't know. I don't know what those people are doing.
Van a ir a Blue Sky?
I don't know. Comida por libra. Oh my God. You know what's so funny? You know how this week or in the last couple of weeks, everybody feels they need to make their declaration of like.
I wanted to talk about that this week.
So in the past, let's set it up.
Yes.
Okay. So the point of the previous conversation is that DJ is not making the turkey this year.
Politeness week is
over. Si quieren que hagan picadillo de pavo, que hagan pavo en fricasé, pero este que está aquí no se va a meter otro Thanksgiving that I have to make the turkey while everybody's lounging around. And I'm looking at the mall. I'm like, this fucking motherfucker. Anyway, so. As you guys probably have heard, in the last few weeks or whatever, there's this new app called Blue Sky that
it's not that new, actually.
Supposed to be sort of the replacement of Twitter, mind you, or X, mind you. it was supposed to be Threads. And Threads had about a 5-minute window where everybody jumped on Threads, including us.
Y después Threads se descosió.
Threads got unthreaded.
Yeah.
And everybody now is like, oh, making their declaration that they're leaving Twitter or X and they're going to Blue Sky. And I have to tell you that being from Miami, every time I see these multiple declarations of people saying like, I'm leaving X and I'm going to Blue Sky, I always think Blue Sky comida por libra. I don't think of no app.
All these hungry people.
All these hungry people going to Blue Sky comida por libra. Isn't that what you think about? Comida por libra.
Like, I don't know why deleting an app has made you so hungry, sir, but okay.
But I just think it's so funny that people feel they have to make a declaration.
Well,
like, I'm making an announcement that I am leaving this social media platform to go to another one.
It's
okay,
that, God,
you go, boo.
And I wrote it down. It's it's the performative.
I'm having some water in our
yes, with our
got milk.
Got milk? We don't, but we have some water and we got milk cup. Performative posts is what I wanted to talk about because I love an alliteration. Because yes, with Blue Sky, like when people are going comida por libra, like you
have a blue shirt on. Wait, Blue Sky is still open, right?
Yeah.
Blue Sky.
Yeah, ahí en la 40.
En la 40 y la 120 y pico, ¿verdad?
No, aquí en la 60 y pico.
Right, and we don't say blue. Even I don't say Blue Sky. We say Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky and comida por libra.
Comida por
the
libra.
whole thing, yeah. Yeah. It's like your friend that you don't call her just Linda. You say her first and last name.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Where the hell is I going with this? So Blue Sky, everybody's leaving. Twitter. But to your point, I think it even started a couple weeks before the whole Blue Sky thing, because when the Washington Post,
right,
people were on Instagram like taking a pic, posting screenshots of their cancellation, and I'm unfollowing, and I'm not, and I'm like, no one really cares.
Okay.
And
okay, Jan.
Yeah, and like, okay, so what do you want? Do you want me to applaud? Yay, you hit a button and said unsubscribe. Wow, you're so brave. When is your Veterans Day? What are you trying?
Where's your Medal of Honor?
Where's your Purple Heart? Let's give. Actually, no, it's a Blue Heart because it's Blue Sky.
Comida por libra.
They're gonna wind up being a sponsor just on the virtue of this episode alone.
If anybody watching works for Blue Sky Comida por Libra Corporation, please come.
Yeah, contact us.
We would love to work with you. We would love to taste test everything at Blue Sky Comida por Libra.
Yeah. And I can eat a lot of libras.
What other podcast has said the word junior in Blue Sky more than we have in the first 15 minutes? But, you go.
Aside from the Blue Sky Junior podcast.
Junior eats at Blue Sky.
Junior eats at bluesky.com. Yes. Why do I know that that's an Instagram handle somewhere?
Like Junior eats at Blue Sky.
Like, there's got to be some junior who's going to go through the entire Comida por Libra menu.
Aquí tenemos un poco de ropa vieja. Mira qué bueno está, los vegetales bien fresquecitos. Ah, mira. Aquí tenemos la carne con papa. Mira, esta carne con papa, esta te la ponen en una completa y de aquí come la comida, la familia completa.
Hace rato que uno come un boliche tan
y mira,
bueno.
Mira, es boliche francés.
Oh,
qué rico.
riquísimo.
Y mira, Mimi, aquí tienen picadillo. Mira este picadillo. Oye, este picadillo.
Y con y sin racing.
Oye, este picadillo aquí de Blue Sky, como esto no hay nada.
No,
como esto no hay nada. I just think we did a commercial. Blue Sky. Comida por libra. Okay, we gotta move on.
God, back to the performative posts of it all. But yeah, no, it's like, again, it's that whole thing of like social media. I think we probably talked about it before. Where it's like, what do you want? Like, I loved a couple weeks back when we posted the thing about Puerto Rico. So I occasionally will, in the DMs, I will check the requests section just because sometimes people are trying to reach out to us with like, interviews or whatever.
Yeah.
So I go into it and it was literally the day of the Puerto Rico thing. There was this one guy who had just sent us a DM that said goodbye. And I was like, when did we say hello? I don't like what I don't understand. Like,
what's the song? You say goodbye, I say hello.
It's Paul McCartney, right?
Is it?
I think it's Wings.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, it's like, what did he think?
My friend.
You posted your gun. You posted your. No, damn, I can't do it. But yeah, what did he think was going to happen? Like that we were going to reply and be like, no, don't leave me.
I would have responded with
Never.
like, hey,
No te
I
vayas.
love you so. Please don't go. Don't
And
go.
so continues our 2-man campaign to have no mercy on our show.
No, that's not. I wasn't. That's please don't go. Please don't go.
Don't go. Okay.
I was. Please don't go. Get your please don't goes right.
It's so true. This is the episode about confusions. We've confused our please don't goes, our blue skies.
Oh yeah. Speaking of well, there's no confusion.
I was like, I don't know what the hell we're speaking of right now. So yeah.
Did you see now? President-elect Trump is choosing his cabinet and
Yes.
different heads of different agencies. Did you see who's going to be running the Federal Transportation Agency?
I mean, at this rate, Fred
Sean
Flintstone?
Duffy. Do you know who that is?
No.
Sean and Rachel.
Oh, I was like, I know that name
Sean
sounds
Duffy
like somebody
and
I should
Rachel.
know.
Rachel. Did you see what I said? I said it automatically.
Yes, Pedro Zamora. Yes, I heard what you said.
I didn't even. Rachel.
They probably went to Blue Sky together.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
For sure.
For
Pedro
sure,
Zamora
yeah.
took Rachel Campos, right?
Campos, yeah.
To Blue Sky
Sky.
when they were here in Miami. So, for those of you who don't know, Sean Duffy, he's from Wisconsin, and he was a representative from Wisconsin. And Trump has elected him to be, I believe, head of the...
Part of his cabinet.
part of his cabinet. I believe it's the transportation... head of transportation. And he's married to Rachel Campos Duffy, who, if you don't know, they are both from MTV's The Real World.
They are alumni.
Rachel is from one of the most famous, if not the most famous season, the San Francisco season. And you got to be over the age of 35 to know what we're talking about. But I mean, very, very iconic season with Pedro Zamora. And her and Pedro Zamora were specifically very, very... they were together a lot.
Yeah.
And then Sean Duffy was part of the Real World Boston.
Okay.
And I believe that season was in 1997 and Pedro's season was in 94. Boston was 97 or 98. I'm pretty sure it was 97. Seattle was 98. Hawaii was 99. And I don't know why I know this so well.
Well, I do.
Well, anyway,
So do our listeners.
so he's going to be part. And I'm like, coño, Real World made it big.
Real World. Oh yeah, let me tell you something. The amount of people who are like famous or like successful now from Real World. I mean, it's a pretty substantial club.
So, what I'm learning from this is that reality TV is a step away from being in government.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Like,
I'm not surprised. Ahorita, I'm sure we'll have, Congresswoman Nini Leaks.
yeah. I mean, listen, it's not a secret. Despite what I think of Donald Trump, especially in the years that I was in law school, I was a total Apprentice fanboy. Like, I had an Apprentice viewing party the first season.
It was a fun show.
The show was awesome.
It was
and I
entertaining.
loved that. Especially like any show, the first 3 or 4 seasons of it, I loved. I wasn't so into the Celebrity Apprentice, but I was definitely into the first 3 or 4 seasons of it.
Most shows, once they do a celebrity season, it just changes everything.
Yeah, it's usually on its way down. No,
Right.
That's what they do to keep it up.
Right, because when you've got unknowns, it's like, I don't know who these people are. Like, they're not walking in as the personality that we know them for. So it's always more fun.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Do you think I should quickly say my Real World story again? Because we have new listeners. I haven't said it in a while.
We do have new listeners. I will say yes, but let's keep it a tight 10.
Okay.
You said short. I don't know. I'm trying to give you
Because
guardrails.
it's been a long time since I say this story.
Junior doesn't know the story.
Junior doesn't know the story. Our friends at Cultura Media don't know the story. I haven't said it on video.
That's true. That's
So
true.
okay. So picture it. Real World Hawaii. So love it.
Story time has begun.
Love it. So somebody my age, I grew up watching The Real World. I absolutely loved it. And when I was about 18, I wanted to be part of The Real World. And I had sent a couple of tapes in, but obviously didn't get chosen. But then for what would have been The Real World Hawaii, I sent in a really good tape. Like I shot it at FIU. Like this was a good tape. So I got called and I got a letter telling me, oh, your tape has been chosen from like, I forgot how many, I think it was like 10,000 tapes.
Wow.
Or it was in the thousands. Your tape has been chosen. You will receive further instructions. Eventually I get a questionnaire and I filled out the questionnaire. I returned the questionnaire. Then based on that, that would move me on to my next round. So then I moved on to the next round, which was a phone interview with one of the producers. So the producer asked me a bunch of questions and I answered them. So this was round 2. And, you know, I had the interview with the producer, you know, said my goodbyes, and that was it. And remember, this was like 1999, so
infancy of the internet.
Right. The internet was just for email at that point. It wasn't like communication wasn't what it is now.
And of course, like Avenue Q told us, for porn.
Right. You still had to wait to get things in the mail and things like that. So I remember that state part of the interview, like when I thought it went well, but it was a couple of months before I heard anything from them. And then I heard back from the same producer, and this time he was on the phone with another producer, and they interviewed me. So this was now round 3. And I apparently did really well, and they now scheduled me to go to a regional meeting in Orlando. And I remember that I was working at ADP at the time. That was like, okay, how do I go to Orlando without my parents finding out, by missing work, missing school? Like, how do I pull this off? So I was like, okay, I'm just going to leave really early in the morning, pretend I'm going to school, call in sick to work, and just drive back. And it was at the Sheraton in Orlando in International Drive, the one that's round, that round one. And it was there. And I remember when I got there, there was like, I don't know, it's a few dozen or like 100 people. And they had like little booths where you had to interview people, where you would sit down with different producers and speak to them. And I remember that I spoke to them.
So they would move you along like speed dating almost?
No, you just got called to like a little booth with like two producers. Okay. And I got called. And then they were like, okay, lunch is between this time and this time, and whatever, you know, we'll call you if we want you back. So I went out to lunch, and when I came back, they were like, oh, they want to speak to you further. And by this time, that big group that was close to 100 people is now down to like 20 or 30. And these 20 or 30 were the people that had passed to what is going to be the next round, and the other people hadn't made it. So I had now passed to what is like the 4th round. And I remember when I sat down with, now it was like 3 or 4 producers, I was like, how long is this gonna take? Because I need to drive back home before my parents find out that I'm here. And I remember, I'm glad I said that, because they were cracked up at that. And that is, I think, what put me on to the next round. Now, the next round was which I heard back from them maybe like a month later. And this was all by email and mail, regular mail. I remember they told me I had to go to a conference room at Kinko's, the one on Kendall Drive. And they had selected a conference room for me that had a phone, speaker phone. And I remember one of the people that I spoke to was Mary Alice Boonen, who was...
She's the creator.
She is the creator. Yeah. And I interviewed with them. And I remember that I thought it went well, but you never know. And I think they were now down to like 20, 25 people.
And in the house, it's usually about, what, 8 people?
7 people to be lived in a house. And I think they were down to like 20 people. Okay. And I spoke to her and I spoke to someone else. It wasn't the other co-producer. I forgot who it was, but I remember her name and I spoke to her. And then I didn't hear back from them. Again. Crickets. And then I was like, I would have thought that they would have sent me a letter saying, hey, thank you for coming along.
Right.
And
thanks, but no thanks.
Then you didn't make it. And I do remember that they told me that then the final leg of this would have been going to LA because the production of Real World was based in LA.
Yeah, of course.
Would be to fly to LA. And that if I flew to LA, they would let me know and they would send me the tickets and all that stuff to fly to LA. And I was like, great. I never heard back from them. So fast forward about 20 years, and I'm not kidding, 20 years.
This is where the story gets fun.
Fast forward about 20 years, I was driving in the car, and my dad was in the car. And my dad was, by this point in time, also, my parents had found out I was auditioning. Because I was like, okay, I can't keep this up much longer.
Yeah, there's a limit.
Right. My parents found out I was auditioning. So about 20 years later, my dad tells me, and we were driving somewhere, he's like, oye, te tengo que decir algo. And I'm like, what? And he's like, ¿te acuerdas esa cosa que tú ibas a hacer con MTV, con el Real World ese? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, mira, yo no sé lo que era, pero ellos te mandaron un FedEx con unos, creo que eran unos tickets de volar, unos tickets de aerolínea, de vuelo, para ir a Los Ángeles. Y eso cuando llegó a la casa, yo lo voté. Porque yo no iba a permitir que tú te estuvieras en ese show con esa depravación. When he told me that, I was like, whatever. I was like, not a big deal.
It was 20 years later, right?
It was 20 years later. I'm like, oh, I can't believe you did that. But then the following day, it really hit me. And I drove to my parents' house to tell my father off. I was like, what do you mean that you did this? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do you know how much money I've wasted? I could have been on the challenge.
Oh, that's true.
I made a ton of money. Like, what do you mean? Like, he's like, no me arrepiento porque ese show es una depravación. Y tú no ibas a estar con todos esos depravados. And I was like, oh my God. I could have been on the Real World Hawaii.
I know.
And then,
I think that was the last good one.
And then here is where I've sort of made this up in my head. Okay. For those of you who remember, and not a lot of people remember, and I've tried to find this online. The Real World Hawaii had a casting special. That most Real Worlds did not have a casting special. But the Real World Hawaii did, and it was hosted by Colin and another girl named Sol, who they were rejects. They had applied for the Real World, but they didn't make it. Okay. So they used them to host that. At the end of that casting special, the producers picked Colin to be on the show. And for those of you who watch The Real Hawaii know exactly what I'm talking about. They picked Colin to be on the show because somebody else who they wanted for that spot did not come through. And I am convinced that that was me. Because you know what? I would have been Colin.
Yeah, but I don't think you would have taken good care of Ruthie that way.
Okay, maybe not. But I would have fit in.
Yeah, the profile
of that guy. Yeah. I would have fit in.
Yeah.
He was the same age, like it was a guy.
I thought people like Tibito. Like
I would have fit that description. And I am convinced that was me.
Por tu culpa, Roberto, I couldn't swim in a pool that had a volcano.
Right. You guys could have all visited me.
I know I would have visited you. Por culpa de tu padre.
There was a whole episode. Yeah, I would have been on the Real Hawaii. I would have gone to India. That's where they went on their trip.
Oh my God, you would have been able to fulfill your dream without going to India.
Yeah, without paying for it. Exactly. So yeah, my dad shattered my dreams. Be in the Real World.
Mira, you know what you should do if this guy, Duffy, whatever position, he comes up and he's like, mira, papá, ¿tú sabes dónde él empezó su carrera?
In a real world.
In a real world.
In a real world.
Si tú no me hubieras botado los boletos, tal vez yo pudiera estar en el Congreso.
Uh-huh. But my dad stood firm. He was like, ese show es una depravación. Una depravación.
And I don't even think it was depraved at that point. Like, I think Hawaii was the turning. No. I'm saying I think Hawaii was the turning point of what it just.
Well, Hawaii was the first episode. It was the first season of The Real World where there was an intercaste relationship with Colin and Amaya. Prior to that, there wasn't. Like I know my first, from the first Real World all the way up to Real World Chicago. Mm-hmm. No, New Orleans.
Oh yes, New Orleans.
That was 12 years.
My God, that was your entire if you think about it, your school career. That's 12 years.
Yeah. Because I think the last Real World that I watched, that I actively watched, was Paris, and I was in law school already.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was like from middle school to like law school. So I could have been in the real world.
Could have been in the real world, then this podcast could have had more watchers. You see, your
For better, for
everything
worse.
that your father said.
For better,
motion.
for worse. You know.
Look at everything your father deprived you of.
But then I could have been on the challenge 100 times. I could have been the next Ryan Seacrest. I would have become a host of some sorts.
Hey, listen, Mario Lopez has made a career of it.
Yeah.
Shit.
I would have been on the challenge 132.
Oh my God. What? At this
Do they still
point-
have them?
No, I know they still have them, but like these people need to be careful
Yeah.
because they're like 60.
There's people there that are
Yeah.
like 60.
Yeah.
Because they're from like the real world,
Right.
New York.
Eric Nice is like 59. Yeah.
Anyway, cheers
It's
to the real
it's
world.
a whole
and
different
MTV.
kind of grind he feels every day now. It's his knees.
Yeah. So talk about your dreams being shattered.
Yes.
So for our new listeners, there you go. Now it'll be another 3 years before I say that story. Yeah.
Well, now it's on video.
No, it's on video.
Now it's been preserved for the archives
Yeah. So
properly. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
so-
yes. Ay, Dios mío. I wanted to tell you about something that we experienced in North Carolina, which was interesting. So that's where I was last week.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a bunch of really nice new restaurants in the area. So whatever, we went
In North
to
Carolina?
in Murphy, yeah.
You don't say.
They're lovely. They're very pleasant. So we went to a Mexican restaurant. We walked in. I guess los tres teníamos pinta de Latino because they just spoke to us in Spanish the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
But then we went into an Italian restaurant and the entire staff was Mexican and talked to us in Spanish from the minute we walked in.
Yeah. Some of the best Italian food in the United States is by chefs that are Mexican.
But it just caught me off guard because, like, again, we're in the middle of Murphy, North Carolina, in the mountains, and we walk in and they're like, "Sí, buenas tardes, ¿cómo están? ¿Tienen una reservación?" And it's like, I know you guys don't answer this to everyone that walks through this door. Like,
they knew. We know.
We do know, right? But I mean, we didn't even walk in speaking Spanish.
They know.
They know. They just picked up on it.
Yeah.
But it caught me off guard that it was the entire staff at the Italian restaurant.
This is a good topic.
All right.
Okay. So you just spent about a week in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I've visited your family's cabin in North Carolina. Explain to me the thing of the cabin in North Carolina, because I've done the cabin thing in North Carolina, and I feel there's two camps of people. There's the people who get it and the people who don't get it. I don't get it. After day 2, I'm like, I'm in a cabin, and what are we doing?
Well, okay. It all depends. If you go just to sit in a cabin, I mean, that's fine because some people literally just want to go somewhere and be like, I don't want to do fuck all, right? So, okay, great, that's fine. But I mean, in this case, a little different because I was working the entire time we were up there, except for Friday. But we go up there and we just, we use the cabin as like a home base almost. So depending on what time of year it is, like we've done whitewater rafting. So it's like we're there the whole time. Like we'll go there. We'll go.
I went whitewater rafting with you as well.
Right. Like, and we go.
That was fun.
It was fun. We'll go to like Tennessee and spend the day in Chattanooga or what. I mean, again, you use it as like just a home base, and you drive and you go out and you hike, and you can go to the apple orchards, and it's just something very different than what you do here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. You don't have to come.
The thing is that I've already done the cabin thing twice, and it's not that I wouldn't do it again. Like if right now all of our friends said, "Hey, we're gonna go to a cabin," I'm like, sign me up. Right. But it's just like, I don't know. Like it's like, again, like there's things that I like to do that other people don't like to do. Right. I'm kind of like, by day 2, I'm like, we're in a cabin in the middle of the mountain. Like,
no, for me, sometimes I literally just like to get away. And it's like, you know what? I don't have to pay for it because it's my parents.
To get away.
So it's a cheap getaway.
Yeah. Well, your cabin especially is really, I mean, there's remote and there's remote.
Yeah. Oh no. Y ahora that area, there's like people.
When I went, it was.
I'm saying, ahora hay gente.
There was a Zaxby's and that's it.
Yeah, no, now there's Ingles, there's a Zaxby's, there's a Super Walmart, there's a Dollar Tree.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a Marshall's, there's a Five Below in a nearing city.
But is there a Blue Sky comida por libra?
I don't think so.
And it hasn't made it to Murphy, North Carolina?
They have this really good donut place that opened.
Oh, okay. Now you caught my attention.
Yeah.
Now you caught my attention.
Really good donut place. Okay, they're closed by like noon.
Yeah. So I was in Orlando this past week.
That's right.
And let me tell you something.
What was it like visiting a galaxy far, far away?
Let me tell you something. They talk about Miami. The traffic in Orlando is just as bad as Miami. We just get all the rap because of,
Because of Only in Dade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people post about it. Yeah.
I The traffic is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's like, oh gosh, I'm stuck on I-4 again. It's like, how much time of my life did I spend on I-4?
I-4, I think, sucks the life out
And
of
I
people.
think that the people in the I-4 corridor and the Disney corridor or the Universal corridor, I mean, I think just to shit with you and to like mess with you, it's like, we're going to change the exits today. Oh, it's 25 A, B, and C.
And they're not where you think they'll be.
Absolutely not. And to get to exit 25B, you have to exit through 25A. And then in that exit, there's the exit to 25B.
And that's after you have to cross 6 lanes of traffic.
Exactly. On I-4.
Yeah.
So you know what?
Yeah.
So
Enjoy.
it's like, you know, they talk about the palmetto and all that, which sucks. But you know, every single time, I remember a few years ago, I had to go to downtown Orlando City proper, like the real Orlando, for something work related. And I was stuck in traffic for over like an hour and a half in the morning. And I remember that thankfully I left really early the hotel because since, you know, I'm not familiar with it.
Right.
I was like, let me leave really early. And good thing I did because I was like stuck in traffic for over an hour. And I'm like, this ain't no Miami.
No.
Wait, where's that from?
I feel like you were doing Beyonce.
No. This ain't no disco either.
This is Orlando. All I want to do
is... we talked about that the other day.
Yes.
Yeah, Orlando traffic sucks, bro.
I like that you put a button on that. It's just like, and we're done.
It does. But I did go to... I did get to go to... Actually, no, I didn't go to Perkins. I always like to have blueberry muffins at Perkins. I feel so special because it's like there's not a Perkins in Miami.
You know, I always think of Perkins.
Of our substitute teacher. Yeah. Have you had the blueberry muffins from Perkins?
I have not.
They're good.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're really, really good.
Because it tastes like real blueberry? Or
I don't know if it tastes like blueberry.
Or does it taste processed?
It's just good. I like Perkins.
Okay.
And you know what I also love? That in Orlando, in Highway 192, they still have a macaroni grill.
Really?
Yeah, they do. But no, macaroni grill still exists. It just doesn't exist in Miami.
Oh.
There's still plenty of them throughout the country. Yeah, there's a macaroni grill. So I'm like, yes, I get to draw on the table.
Oh.
And, you know, poder disparate.
My real question to you is, though, do they have blueberry pancakes at Blue Sky?
En el Blue Sky no tienen blueberry. That's not... Blueberries are not part of Caribbean cuisine. El puré de tomate sí tienen.
Ay, a pancake de puré de tomate.
No, pero si Cuban food le meten un pomo de tu puré de tomate a todo.
I mean, I'm thinking of like a tomato pancake. Awful.
That's not bad. Well,
it's not gonna be good.
Well, no. I was thinking like a tomato, make it a... Anyway.
Right. No.
You know what's so funny? Do you know one of my parents' favorite things to eat? Like favorite that they go crazy. They have it like 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh. Tomate con sal?
The hot cakes from McDonald's. My mom's like, a mí me encantan los pancakes de McDonald's. Esos son los pancakes más ricos que hay. And I'm like, Mom, esos pancakes vienen frisados y los ponen en un microwave.
They've been there for years.
No, pero esos son los pancakes más ricos que hay. So then whenever we go to like, you know, a Denny's or an IHOP, they're like, no, esto está rico, pero los pancakes yeah. Los pancakes de McDonald's son los mejores. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, listen. Enjoy.
They get the job done.
Enjoy. You know what? I can't remember the last time I had a flapjack
or
a flapjack
cake
or whatever the hell they're called at McDonald's.
What's the difference between a flapjack and a pancake?
I think it's regional.
Like pop and soda?
Yeah. Or, you know, like a water fountain or a bubbler.
Who the hell says bubbler?
A bubbler. I think it's like in the northeast of the U.S. There are places that call it a bubbler.
Northeast as in Maine? Because they don't say that shit in New York or in Massachusetts.
I think it's north, but there are places here that say bubbler. I didn't make that up.
Bubbler? Who says bubbler? Oh, I'm gonna go take a sip at the bubbler.
That sounds... I don't like how that sounds. No me gusta.
A sip on the bubbler.
No.
So yeah, you know, Disney was crowded. It was gleeful.
Okay.
Christmas, blah.
Sir, you are burying the lead.
I love Disney.
No, you're burying the lead of I still call it MGM Studios. Hollywood Studios with Star Wars Galaxy's
Oh
Edge.
my God, that is amazing.
There
That
you
is
go.
amazing. Okay. I take back everything that I said.
This is what I was going
so
to.
I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. But because I don't know COVID, I hadn't been to MGM Studios. I still call it MGM, just like I still call it Joe Robbie.
It's Joe Robbie. It's MGM. Miami Arena.
And it's funny because there was a couple of people that I mentioned MGM Studios while I was over there. I'm like, huh? I'm like, it's MGM Studios. Look it up. Google it. Okay, I hadn't been. It's freaking amazing.
It's incredible.
When you first walk into the ride, what is it? The Resistance?
The ride.
Yeah.
The ride. Yeah.
Tristan was like, you see all the stormtroopers?
Yeah.
And Tristan was like, oh, those are actors. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're stormtroopers. Like, you're not going to tell me those aren't stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers and Muppets are both real.
They are.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to tell me that that's a stormtrooper. And then, I was like, if I see Darth Vader, I will kneel at Lord Vader because everybody knows that that's my guy here. I'm not part of, I'm no Jedi. I'm none of that. I'm the dark side. But we didn't see Darth Vader.
It was his off day.
He was taking care of other things in the universe.
Well, the galaxy has a lot of things to be taken care of. It's very vast and wide.
It is, and it's always growing.
And it is growing. There's nowhere to go.
Oh yeah, but no, seriously, that land,
it's beautiful.
The theming. It's Disney.
Yeah.
So it's just incredible.
Nobody's gonna tell me that I wasn't on that planet.
Oh no. No, I was there.
I was there. Yeah,
I was teleported there, but I was there.
Yeah.
I was there, and I went to the canteen.
Did you have the blue milk?
I had the blue milk. Riquísimo.
It's really good. Mira.
Riquísimo.
Mira, Florida Dairy should try some blue milk.
It is.
Yeah.
I had the blue milk, and he had the yellow milk. The blue was better than the yellow. But riquísimo. I will say this, though, and I will fight anybody.
Oh, all the cameras.
I will die on that hill.
Okay.
That new Mickey Minnie little train ride.
I think it's so cute.
They got rid of one of the most iconic, and I'm using iconic with a capital I, iconic Disney rides ever, which is the Great Movie Ride. That ride was an icon, and they got rid of that for that Mickey and Minnie Railroad. I will die on that hill.
Okay.
They should have not gotten rid of that.
So I agree, iconic, the Great Movie Ride, but I like the Mickey ride. It's so cute.
I'm not saying that the ride is bad. I'm
could have
just
just
saying
made it somewhere
that
else.
you could have made it somewhere else. Right. I mean, they still have the freaking Voyage of the Little Mermaid with 1990s laser technology, right? You mean to tell me that we're gonna?
In all fairness, considering the time that Little Mermaid was set, that's very advanced.
I mean, you're gonna tell me that that they kept that ride, but they got rid of the Great Movie Ride. I mean, come on. No. No. And you know what? You know what happened to me?
That's the only ride to feature Mickey, right?
Yes. You know what happened to me? So we went on that immediately after going on the Tower of Terror. Immediately.
Which is your favorite ride?
So I love the Tower of Terror, but the Tower of Terror works the number on you, right? Mm-hmm. When you leave it, you're a little like, oh man, vertigo. And immediately, because we had, the fast pass thing, immediately we had to walk to the mini thing. So I was literally falling down the Tower of Terror, and 10 minutes later, I was on the Mickey Railroad. When we got to the part of Daisy and the ballerina, I was like,
part.
I can't take this shaking and this back and forth right now, Daisy. I can't. I just fell down the Tower of Terror. The planning of this was not good.
That's not Daisy's fault.
Yeah.
Daisy no tiene la culpa.
So if I tell you Statler and Waldorf, do you know who that is?
What do we just meet?
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Of course I know who Statler and Waldorf are.
Right. But do you know the names, what they mean?
It's hotels.
Statler.
In New York, yes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know Statler, but Statler was in the early 1900s. It was sort of as big as Waldorf, which is Waldorf Astoria. So, yeah. But, overall, Disney was Disney. I love Disney, but, I go to Disney now to get mad. It's
they should put that in their advertising.
The happiest place on earth, and I love it. I love going there, but I just get pissed off porque todo está caro. It's be $15 for a little personal pizza. It'll be $6 for a Sprite. Oh, and by the way, I rode on Dinosaur.
Okay, I haven't really been
so there's a ride in Animal Kingdom called Dinosaur, and my bag flew out of it.
You left something in the Jurassic period?
Yeah, I was next to a dinosaur. It flew out of the ride. And you know what was so great? So the ride dinosaurs in MGM, in Animal Kingdom. And I believe that this video is probably from when Animal Kingdom opened, which was like in 99, 2000.
That long? Wow.
Yeah. And you know how a lot of these rides, they have like a little intro that it's like, welcome to the, Dinosaur Institute,
It's
right?
The story of the
right.
thing. Yeah.
It's Claire Huxtable. And I kid you not.
Well, you sent me the video.
When she was like, because today you'll be going on a dinosaur ride through prehistoric times. I'm like, I hear it. I hear Baltimore, Maryland. I hear it.
That's where the ride ends. Baltimore. Maryland.
She was like, today you will ride through a prehistoric time and see dinosaurs. And I was like, you go, Claire Huxtable. But,
Claire had a second act.
Felicia Rashad, who knew what is she going through by nowadays? Is she still going by Felicia Rashad?
I think professionally, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Listen, she's one of my favorite people.
She's
ever.
Felicia Rashad. She, now, forever, and always.
Yeah, she was one of my favorite people. But yeah, no, I just go to Disney to get pissed off now. Todo cuesta, todo está caro, todo, $30 for parking. Yeah, so that, we're annual pass holders, so we don't have to pay that.
Oh, wow.
$30 for parking, $6 para esto, $10 para esto, it's like, whatever. Just suck it in. Suck it in and enjoy the mouse.
That just doesn't sound right.
Whatever. We're talking about Disney World. Like, get your head out of the gutter. Suck it in, enjoy the mouse, and then take a drink from the bubbler.
I don't like it. I don't like this. No, that's a bad t-shirt.
Oh, boy.
All right. So, you know what? Let's take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go word from our sponsor, and then we will be right back.
It's the holidays again. Time for families to come together and enjoy flan, mac and cheese, un pumpkin pie, a little coquito. The list goes on and on. But do you know what brings all those delicious holiday favorites together? The delicious, creamy taste of dairy, like the kind we get from Florida Milk. And this holiday, our Florida dairy farmers are also giving you the perfect recipes at floridamilk.com or lechedeflorida.com. Así que whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving or Nochebuena, don't forget to add some dairy to the celebration.
And we're back.
We sure are.
I just took a drink from the bubbler.
From the bubbler. We installed one just for you. In the northeast section of the Cultura Talk studio.
The northeast section. Who the hell calls it the bubbler?
I'm gonna look it up. Like it is a thing. It is a regional
Isn't
thing.
that a machine that just makes bubbles?
I guess it could be.
Yeah.
That would be the bubbler.
The bubbler.
Yes. So you mentioned Thanksgiving's coming up next weekend.
Yes.
And that means that it's like the last push of the Hollywood movie season is about to be upon us. And they're trying to make Barbenheimer happen again. Only this time it's gladiators and musical witches.
Oh.
We've got Glicked.
Okay. Let me tell you something about Wicked. Okay.
For the record, his views don't express my views.
Okay. Everybody knows how I feel about musicals. I don't. Junior, do you like musicals? And Grease doesn't count.
Oh, that's the barometer? Grease doesn't count?
No, Grease is cool.
I don't know where you're going with this topic, so I don't want to jump the gun or jump the broom on it.
Okay.
So,
okay, because
I'll
musicals annoy the out of me. Most of them do. And
okay.
there's a
Then we have
listener of
similar-
ours.
Then we have similar.
There's a
opinions.
listener of ours who's a friend of ours also, who's probably right now screaming at her radio. I'm sorry, Stephanie. They annoy the out of me. I mean, we've talked about this
I love me a musical.
extensively on the show.
I
But
wish I could live in a musical.
I do love Grease. Who doesn't like Grease and stuff like that. But anyway,
You like Avenue Q?
Avenue Q, yeah, that's fun. But anyway, and I don't even say this as somebody who doesn't care for musicals. I can't think of, well, actually I can, Barbie, of a movie that they've been promoting for so long. I mean, so my YouTube algorithm, I don't look at musicals or anything related.
Right.
So I don't know why it's in my algorithm. Everything is Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. Everything. Every podcast, every show they've done, every appearance they've made.
I have said this. if I don't think that the movie's gonna bomb, but if that movie bombs, it is at no fault of the promotion department.
Right. It's like everywhere. And you know what? I'm not hating it. I hope it does well. It's not my shtick, but I hope it does well. And I like both of them.
Yeah. And this press, I don't know, the press tour, I kind of like them on the press tour.
Yeah.
I'm loving the Love Fest.
They went to the Olympics together in July to start promoting the movie.
¿Verdad? I had totally forgotten about that.
Yeah, I feel that like after the press tour is over, they're gonna have like withdrawal syndrome of each other.
I hope they have like cardboard cutouts of each other at home, just to, you know.
But they're making another one, right? That's what I heard.
Well, no, so they filmed it all together.
Oh, okay.
They like Lord of the Rings. So they filmed one big ass movie and then they split it into two parts.
Okay, well they'll probably do a press tour for the second.
Oh yeah,
round
no, we're getting the second round of this press tour next year.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there anything special that you know about, or that you know
About
that they're doing differently from the musical?
So they've added some numbers because here's the thing. And this, I actually do have a problem. I don't think it should be two movies. I think because the show in and of itself is about the length of part one. So I think just do one movie. It's fine. But, you know, Hollywood loves their IP and loves to stretch shit out, you know. So what they've done is they've split it into two and they've added more songs. And so basically more content into, like, they've like fleshed out the story. Fair enough. It's based on a book. The book does have things that are not in the show. I've read the book as well. And so, okay, fine, I get it. But it's like, again, my whole thing is like, guys, and I freaking love Wicked.
So you've seen it, obviously.
I've seen it on stage like 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
But I don't need 2 parts of it. Like I'm okay. Like make it just one big movie. Like,
you know,
just 2 hours.
Maybe I'll give this movie when it's on streaming or whatever a chance, because I do like The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's true. You do.
I do like The Wizard of Oz as a movie on its own. So maybe I'll give it a chance. So funny story.
You would actually probably enjoy the political themes of this movie.
Funny story, listeners. So I think I've said this story before. When I was in Michigan, Ish made me one time a mixed CD, and he added a bunch of songs. And him and I don't necessarily have the same musical taste, but I listened to it with an open mind. And I think it was the very first song.
It is the first, because it opens with Kristen Chenoweth speaking. So
the very first song on the CD was Alphaba. Why did you have to go and fly off the handle? And that's when I would press next. So for years, when I would play that CD, all I heard was Alphaba.
He just heard Kristen Chenoweth for 2 seconds.
Why did he have to go fly off the handle? Next. Little did I know. So that for like, I don't know, for like years, I didn't even know the song. Because I'm like, this is some Broadway bullshit that I don't care to listen to, that they're going to start, you know.
I love you, Kristen.
That they're going to be talking and singing and blah, 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 all that. Blah. And I was like, next. And then one day, I don't know how, the CD just played. And the song played, and I'm like, that's a really nice song. And you're like, yeah, it's the first song on the CD, which was Defying Gravity. Yes. No, actually,
it's Defying Gravity.
That's not the way it happened. I just sort of made that up. It was the other way around. I heard it on Glee.
That's right.
And I'm like, what a nice song.
And I was like, yeah, you've had it on your fucking CD for like
forever.
3 years.
Forever. And I'm like, no, I don't. And you're like, yeah, you do. And I'm like, wait, that Alphaba. That bullshit is that song. Yes. And then I went back to the CD, which I still have nowadays, and I played it. I was like, oh, it is Defying Gravity. I only would have listened 2 more seconds.
Just 2 more seconds. 2 more seconds.
Okay, I give you. That's a nice song.
It is a beautiful song.
It is a nice song.
And the end song, For Good, is it's a tearjerker. Like, it makes me cry. Like, I will send you the lyrics, so you don't have to listen to it. You can just read the lyrics and decide if you want to hear it. But it's an absolutely beautiful song as well.
As I said, when this is on streaming or whatever, maybe I'll give it a chance, because I like The Wizard of Oz. You know what's really weird? The Gladiator.
I feel like Gladiator 2 came out of nowhere.
The Gladiator 1. So if we're being honest here, I bought a surround sound system for my house because of Gladiator 1.
If you can't buy a Coliseum, buy surround sound.
See, I remember that that surround sound system was so good that when, you know, in like scenes when they would throw like the arrows, it was like you would duck. You feel like the arrow just went by you. That's how good my surround sound system was. And I I went through like a year that I thought I was Russell Crowe in Gladiator, but you know that for some reason I'm not really excited about this Gladiator. Like I'm gonna go watch it, but I'm like,
I just don't think it's. I don't think they've done a good job. I don't know if it's that they haven't done a good job promoting it, or just Wicked has drowned everything else out. But yeah, I totally forgot it was even happening.
And
And they have big names.
Also, as much as I like the first Gladiator, and I absolutely loved it, I wasn't really asking for a second Gladiator. I was okay where the first Gladiator ended.
Nobody was asking for this movie.
Like,
Nobody was asking for this
I
movie.
realize we live in a world of remakes and part twos and all that. That's all we do. And yeah, it's Denzel Washington.
It's Denzel. It's Pedro Pascal. Esta mujer from the first one is back. Not Russell Crowe.
I'll never forget that one time I was in Atlanta. And it was when I was starting to grow out my hair that it was like long and a little shabby in the back. And at that time I was like really into the gym. And this lady stops and asks me, and she's just like, you know that you look like Russell Crowe. And I'm like, do I look like Gladiator Russell Crowe or fat Russell Crowe? Because at that point it could have gone either way. Like,
and depending how you answer, I might throw a phone at you like Russell Crowe.
He threw a phone too?
Yeah.
He went to the Naomi Campbell School of Throwing Phones.
It's a correspondence course. Yes.
Yeah, Gladiator 2 coming to theaters this
Thanksgiving weekend.
Like it or not,
Like it or
ready or not, here it comes.
Like it or not.
I mean, who are we kidding? I'm just looking forward to Christmas so I could watch 24 hours of A Christmas Story.
It really is the best.
It really is. It is. And I will die on that hill that's the greatest Christmas movie.
I mean,
actually, speaking of Christmas movies, and maybe we should do this in our Christmas
I was gonna
episode.
say maybe like we'll tease it out.
Junior, Die Hard, Christmas movie.
Yes.
You know what? I knew you were going to say that because you are so similar to this one here that I was like, if he says no, then we don't know who he is.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, Die Hard, I like to watch on Nochebuena because they were stuck.
It starts on Nochebuena. Yeah.
They were stuck in Nakatomi. Notice there was not a Cuban or Caribbean person there because they weren't partying in Nakatomi Plaza. They were partying at Nochebuena in their house.
That's true. They had just gone to Blue Sky. And
they were doing,
they went, yes.
They were doing their lechon asado. It's like, you don't miss Nochebuena to go to Nakatomi Plaza.
No. I'm in forward. No Latinos at that fucking plaza. That's why Carl Winslow was working.
Carl before he was Carl.
Carl before he was Carl.
That movie's so good.
It is fantastic.
That movie's so good. So now I watch it on Nochebuena.
So you start your Christmas with Die Hard and you end it with A Christmas Story.
Of course I do.
I like the balance.
And you know what I love to do with A Christmas Story? So I like playing it all throughout the day.
Yeah.
But I like to, at the end when you're exhausted from Christmas, I like being in bed and watching it like at 10 o'clock at night. And it's like
that last showing.
See you next year, Ralphie.
Oh. I'm picturing you waving.
Bye, Ralph.
Bye, Ralphie.
Randy, why are you crying? Because Daddy's going to kill Ralphie. It's the best part. The best part. The best part. Anyway, bueno, this has made me, all this Christmas talk has made us thirsty.
Made us thirsty. So it's time for our last coquito.
Our last coquito of the party.
Of the party. The last
okay,
of the party.
I don't know if you heard when I was talking about it last week with Junior, I'm like, the last coquito of the desert doesn't sound good.
No. But at a party.
And if you're stuck in the desert, you want something refreshing. A coquito is
thick.
Rich.
Yes.
That's why it has milk.
That's right. So it's so the last coquito of the party.
The last coquito of the party.
Brought to us by our Florida dairy farmers.
Yes.
So do you want to go first?
Yes, I will go first. All right. So even though I was saying that I go to Disney nowadays to get mad because everything is expensive and ridiculous, I did notice this time around. Actually, I had noticed before, but specifically this time around, and you have to commend them, especially when a corporation like Disney, that's this huge corporate conglomerate, does these. That I saw that they hired a lot of disabled persons.
Okay.
From the whole spectrum.
Okay.
And I thought that was like great. I thought it was wonderful that they did that. because a lot of times these are people that, despite whatever setback they have, when you give them a job or you give them a task, they could rise above it. And society is just so quick to like be like, you can't do that. And it was a lot of people. Like it was so many that it was noticeable. Like, wow, like you would look at a restaurant, you would look at a ride, and I'm like, wow, this is so great. So, you know, we're very quick to criticize corporations and say they're evil and this and that. And, you know, it's also important to balance it out and say when a corporation does well. And I thought that was very commendable. So Disney Corporation, here's a last Coquito for you.
Yeah.
But you still make me mad at your exorbitant prices. And by the way, that little gift you sent me for being an annual pass holder, not going to cut it.
No. Oh, what was it?
These 6 cards with recipes on them. One of them is for tres leche. Brought to you by Coco. And I'm like, if I want tres leche, I'll go to Blue Sky Food by the pound. Full circle, baby. Full circle.
That's how we do it here. We know what we're doing. We know exactly what we're doing here. So my La Coquito of the party, I'm actually going to give it to a group of people, just because. So yesterday, as we were recording this, I had an incident at my apartment building. There was a fire.
I knew about this, but I didn't ask you about it because I wanted you to tell me at this moment.
Yes, at the story.
So here I go. I'm listening for the first time.
So my last Coquito is, I'm just going to preface it. I'm going to give it to the Coral Gables firefighters who showed up. They were absolutely fantastic. They were super helpful, very considerate. They were fantastic. But so it was about 9:45 at night. I had just finished eating like a wrap. I was sitting on my couch. I was in my shorts, no shirt. I was like, I'm like,
kidding?
I'm like, well, you know, but again, I was in for the night. Like, it's like I just got out of the shower. I don't know. Y de pronto, all of a sudden, I just hear like this loud ass fire alarm. But the thing is that like 2 weeks ago, they had sent out an email saying that they were testing the fire alarms. Alarm. So I was like, shit, something went wrong with the fire alarm, right? I'm like, but it's not stopping, right? So I kind of opened the door. You know, I opened the door to look out, and the front door neighbor, she had come out already, and she's like, what's going on? Whatever. And I tell her, I'm like, I smell smoke. Like something is burning. So in eso, we start like opening the other doors. When you've been to my place, opening the doors, and then everybody's like coming out. Like everybody's coming out, and you see smoke coming from the second floor.
This shit got serious.
Yeah, very fast. So at that point, I'm like, oh shit! Like, and I'm like calling Jose because Jose's on the third. I'm on the first. And I'm like, I'm about to call Jose. He's calling me, and I'm like, "There's a fire! Just get out of the house!" So I'm like, just run.
I've waited my whole life to say this. There's a fire!
The fire!
Get out
of the house!
Stop, drop, and roll.
So we're, I'm outside. I make a mad dash out, whatever this and that, and then I don't even know to this day which one of my neighbors handed me a phone. Mm-hmm. That already had 911 speaking, and all of a sudden I was the designated speaker with 911 for some reason.
Were you wearing a shirt?
I was shirtless.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Exactly. This entire thing, I am now wandering the streets of Coral Gables shirtless.
I mean, I'm sure you didn't mind.
I didn't care. I've jogged shirtless before in the area, but not when there's like firefighters showing up and patrulleras. So I'm on the phone, and I understand 911 operators. I get you have protocol, and I understand that there's a process. And 9 times out of 10, the reason they have this protocol is to keep you on the phone, to keep you calm, to keep you talking, just in case something is happening and whatever. But they ask some stupid ass questions. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm calling it, it's like, yeah, well, there's a fire and this is that. And it's like, okay, well, where did the fire start? And I'm like, well, it's on the second floor. And well, was it in the kitchen? I was like, ma'am, I don't know. Do you want me to walk back in and find out and tell you?
Were you being sassy with the 911 person?
I was being sassy because it's like, I'm like, I get you're doing your job. At the same time, it's like, I'm just calling to report a fire. Mm-hmm. I need people who know how to handle this to show up. Fire. Right. Fire. And so then Jose comes out, and we're all, and again, there's only 12 units in the building. So now we've all met each other. Mm. We all know each other very well. And as we're standing there in the
So this was not the Towering Inferno.
This was not the Towering Inferno, thankfully. So, we're standing outside, and the firefighters are like, get back. You have to stay across the street and all this and that. the neighbors from next door. So during COVID, I would sit like at my kitchen table and work, and I could see, well, the building next to me. I could see everybody's lives there. You call it solar.
I call it. It looks like the setup of a Chavo del Ocho.
Well,
La vecindad.
Well, there's this one señora there who she buys a lot of beer on a daily basis. I could have sworn that she was like una de estas viejas cubana de un solar. She came up to us and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're all right." And it was like, I felt like, that moment when we heard Adela speak English.
Yeah.
¿Qué pasa, USA? Yeah. And I was like, you're not Latin. Like in my mind, I'm processing the fire, but I'm also processing this now. And so, then Jose had come out, and he actually had the worst of it, because the apartment that did catch fire was the one right beneath him.
Oh no.
So he had, when the smoke started rising initially into his apartment, he was like, it's a little hazy in here. So he had opened the windows to his apartment, and I saw, I was like, come, run, get out. And he says that when he was coming down the stairs, he's like, it was really scary because the smoke was just like, it was dark, like at that point, and you could see the smoke billowing up the stairwell, like from the outside, like it just got dark, to the point where one of the neighbors, he had grabbed a fire extinguisher to go into that apartment to try and help. And he's like, when I opened the door, it was just black. He's like, I wasn't going to go in there. I didn't know what was on the other side of that, So resumida cuenta, based on what we've heard, the neighbor, which pobrecito, his apartment, we saw it. It's destroyed. He had apparently left on like the rice cooker.
La Oitachi. Que no Hitachi.
La rosera. He had apparently left that on, and he had gone. And again, this is what I've heard. I don't know, and gone to like the laundromat that's like 2 blocks away, and come back, and it had caught fire. And pobrecito, he was really, really disturbed, and he was crying. He was so upset, and I feel bad for him. But yeah, so I'm giving it to the firefighters, because let me tell you something. Coral Gables, they try to keep you on the line with 911, but they sent 5 fire trucks.
Wow.
5 fire trucks. And again, everybody.
So was everything in his apartment burned or just blacked out?
From what we could see, because we were able to go back today.
And were the hallways filled with like black?
No, the hallways still reek of, not the hallways, outside the building, outside the front door. The doors are open. Everybody's windows are open. You can still smell smoke if you walk past the building, the front of the building.
And how about Jose's apartment?
Lots of smoke smell, but everything is fine. Everything is fine there. My apartment, ni se enteró. But yeah, it was kind of scary, in that moment of like, oh shit, what's going on? And the firefighters got there, they assessed the situation, and obviously they know what they're looking for, but it just, there was a moment there where we couldn't even go in, because they're like, yeah, the fire's out, but carbon monoxide,
right,
we can't let you in,
right.
And then it was floor by floor. So then it was like, okay, if you're on the first floor, you can go in to get things, but you can't stay here tonight.
Right.
And the second and third floor, I don't think, they weren't able to go to their apartments.
So you didn't stay there last night?
No, the landlord, we have a really great landlord. He actually paid for all of us who wanted to.
Wow, he's great.
Night at a hotel.
He's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he offered.
I hope your rent doesn't go up.
I know.
I'm sure you already thought.
I know. I already thought about that too. I'm like,
Well, the good thing is that, it was contained, and it was always 3 floors.
Yeah.
I always, when I lived in Marina Blue and that mammoth of a building on the 48th floor, I was always like, oh my God, if this has a fire, I have to go down 48 flights of stairs? Like, what? I was like, I need a parachute. It's
like a zip line.
So let me ask you something, since you were in this situation. So if you had to go and save one thing or something you could carry, what would it be?
I don't know, because I literally just walked out with like my phone and my keys. So I don't know, because in that moment I just didn't think about anything. Meanwhile, the guy who had gotten the fire extinguisher, I think lo único que le faltó sacar era el sofá.
No, yo hubiera sacado todo.
He was like, because he's a musician, so his equipment had gotten stolen from his car like a couple months ago. So he was like,
he was not taking chances.
He was like, no, si todo esto me cuesta como $15,000. Yeah. And he would take out, he took out his drums, I'm telling you, you would have had 5 more minutes before the firefighters would have gotten there. There would have been a love seat.
Yeah. No, that would have been me.
Yeah.
If I had to take out one thing and one thing only, I think it would be my hard drive with all my million pictures.
Okay.
I mean, if I don't have my pictures up, who am I? I mean, that's all I do, right? Collect pictures. Like that's all I do.
That is your Pokemon.
Yeah, that is. So it's like if I had to save one, because then I would just be like, what's the point of living if my hard drives are gone with all my pictures?
Oh, I hope your child isn't hearing that right now.
Well, I meant material things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
I don't know. It was between him and the hard drive. I guess I would pick him.
If you have to.
So wow, scary.
Yeah, it is. It was scary, and it was contained, and it was a small thing and everything. But it was one of those.
And you know
like,
what? Actually, do you know what I think is scary? Is that I am 100% sure that your building is made out of wood, or the foundation is made out of wood.
Well, the floors of each apartment
are
is,
wood.
Is wood. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wood with plaster because that building is like 100 years old.
Yeah. Well, you know the funny thing is the reason. So my landlord bought
That wasn't made with rebar.
Well, he bought that building about 20 years ago because that building had burned down.
Oh, okay. So maybe it might be
it was
rebuilt
more reinforced.
to fire codes.
Yeah.
Because that building is from the 20s, right?
Yeah, I think he
The
just
1920s.
Yeah, he like rebuilt it according to the aesthetic and all that. But I think it's been
Okay.
reinforced.
Well, we're glad you're all okay.
Yes.
We're glad nothing was damaged.
Yeah.
Well, except the poor guy's apartment. But
Yeah, Bode. And he was the most recent person to move into the building.
que
too.
embarque,
I know.
coño. I hope you had renter's insurance.
Well, we are all having renters. Like nobody in the building had renters insurance because we're all kind of talking about it. And we're like, "Do you have renters insurance?" No, me, okay. And now we're all getting renters.
Renter's insurance is super cheap. It's like $30 a month.
It's super cheap.
Or like I think it's like $200 or $300 a year.
It can be even less than that. I think Jose found it for like under $200.
Yeah, a year. So
Yeah.
okay, well, everybody, that was
note.
episode 325.
Yep.
Que todo el mundo pase un bonito Thanksgiving.
See.
We'll be back on Black Friday to talk about las gangas. I say this in every single show that we do around Thanksgiving. I've never gone Black
anymore.
Friday shopping.
It's not a thing.
Just
anymore,
like I've never played pool and I've never had a meatball sub. Those are just things I'm not doing.
You know what? One day I'm gonna drag you out on a Black Friday. I'm gonna make you play pool while eating a meatball sub.
I've taken a bite of a meatball sub, but I've never ordered one. Why?
Because you don't think it's a value.
It's not a value. Why am I going to pay $10 for a loaf, a piece of bread with 8 meatballs when I could have a steak and cheese?
You just haven't found the right meatball.
Well, I mean, I guess I can wash out the right meatball with a bubbler.
With the bubbler.
Maybe Blue Sky has the
Yes.
right meatball. You know what I think we should do, Junior? I think we should do. I think that we should edit all the times we said Blue Sky on this show, do a reel
supercut.
and tag Blue Sky and be like, Blue Sky.
Do you even think they're on Instagram?
I don't know, but there's one way of finding out.
You know what? That would be great.
Or go to your local Blue Sky and be like, ¿dónde está el manager? Mira. Free publicity. That is the American way. Anyway, everybody, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.
Catch up.
We hope you listen, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, your last coquito, y un pedazo de pavo.
Yeah, total.
So,
Yeah.
But who are we kidding? They're really going to eat lechon. So everybody have a great week. Bye.
Bye.